Welcome to the show, Casey Chilton, director of the Texas State University Comm Lab. I understand you have some updates for us.
I do. Thanks for having me, Ryan. And we look forward to working with your students this semester. So, one of the things that we really want students to understand is that they need to come to their Comm Lab appointment with a completed presentation, fully written. Ideally, you've gone over it a couple of times out loud. Bring your outline, bring your note cards, whatever you're going to use to deliver it in class or online. And we want to simulate the experience in the classroom as much as we possibly can. Of course, it'll just be you and a coach talking, and then you'll view, and then you'll get some critique. So please make sure to come with a completed presentation, whatever materials you need. Another thing that we really want to discourage is folks no showing for their appointments, because a no show means that our coaches are sitting there for a half-hour appointment doing nothing, while other students who would want to use the lab are not able to use the lab for the semester, because this thing happens in certain times of the semester in specific windows of time. And so if you need to cancel or change your appointment for any reason, it's really easy to do that. And I can show you when you get your confirmation email. It'll look like this, and you'll see some information here. You deliver your completed presentation. So we really encourage you to save this email, because all you have to do is go up here, this button that says reschedule, and it'll give you the option to either cancel entirely or reschedule it for a different day and time that you'll choose from the calendar, just like when you first made your appointment. So that's a real easy thing. And if you would, please only sign up for one appointment as opposed to multiple appointments. And yeah, those are things that we really hope that you'll abide by, so that we can maximize this experience and make sure that we serve as many people at Texas State as we possibly can, because it's a really valuable resource.
It really is. One of the reasons that we have it required on online learning, especially, is because we saw a huge leap in scores and performance and delivery just from having that Comm Lab experience where people had a chance to go and practice. But they have to come prepared. They have to come having had practiced it, what, 3 to 5 times?
Oh, at least. Yeah. One of the things, because I teach the same class, and in addition to public speaking and things like that. And one of the things that I really try to impress upon my students is your first rehearsal is going to be your worst rehearsal. The first time you say it out loud, you're going to be grasping for words. You know the material, but you're going to have a little trouble getting the exact right wording. The more times you do it out loud, the more it'll flow, the more confident you will be. And so, you don't want your first rehearsal to be in front of a classroom full of people. So, do it a few times before you come see us. Do it out loud. Oral composition is very important, not just doing it in your head. And then come in and you'll deliver a great, smooth presentation. You'll get some feedback on it, and you're going to go into that class session, absolutely ready to go.
Excellent. Do you have any other tips for speaking apprehension? Because I know that speaking apprehension, speaking anxiety, being afraid to show up to the Comm Lab can be a problem sometimes, because they're like, oh my gosh, I have to practice my speech in front of a live human being. No, thank you. So what do you have to say to those people?
Well, first and foremost, no need to be afraid of the Comm Lab. It's a very relaxed environment. You're going to be working with someone who is a peer of yours, not a faculty member, not a professor, someone that you have a lot in common with. They're communication majors, and so they know, they've taken public speaking and advanced public speaking. They know how to give presentations, and they are very sympathetic to what you're going through, because we all experience some degree of apprehension. That's perfectly normal, and they can help give suggestions on how to manage it before, during, and after your presentation, helping you to understand that, hey, it's a 5-minute talk about something that you're really familiar with. One of the things that I tell my classes, I go, you know more about this topic than anybody else in the room. And so why wouldn't you be excited to share that knowledge that you have, and kind of show off what you know? No, nobody else in the room knows as much about this as you do. You're the expert. So yeah, come see us, and we can help with some techniques to managing that apprehension.
Techniques. Can you give us a little preview? I always say practice, practice, practice.
One of the hardest things, I think, for a lot of people is eye contact. And so we can give you techniques for eye contact to help you not look in, like the 3-point technique when it comes to eye contact, things like that.
For online classes, you're looking at a little circle sometimes. You're looking at a little camera,
Yeah,
which is a totally different game. We could do common mistakes. Like, for example, I notice people not citing. I notice people not making eye contact for over 80% of the time. I notice people not using their hands for nonverbals. I notice people who maybe are not using the structure of the outline to present their ideas? What are some things that you notice?
Well, I notice a lot of those things, and a lot of times it comes down to making those notations on your speaking outline or your notes. When I have to write a citation down, I don't just write it out. I highlight it in yellow to make sure that it catches the eye as a visual reminder. Things like using the hands, that's the great thing about maybe using note cards instead. One of the things that I recommend to anybody is when you're practicing your presentation, hold your note cards in one hand and your phone in the other, or a TV remote or something in the other. That way you can't grab your cards with both hands. You're forced to just gesture naturally, and you'll be surprised at how natural it is, and how you'll just be using your hands without even thinking about it. But yeah, the eye contact as well. And again, that's where practice comes into play, because the more you rehearse it out loud, the more familiar with it you are. You start to get a rhythm in what you want to say. It's almost like, someone was studying their lines for a play or for a film or something like that. And you know what you want to say, so you're much less dependent on them. And, ideally an outline or note cards are used for citing specific statistics or definitions, or making sure that you cite this particular source, etc. That's really what the note cards are there for.
Yeah. And it's an extemporaneous speech, so we're not reading it from the cards. And what I've seen students do successfully is they'll eliminate cards as they practice, and slowly they'll get down to three by five note cards, whereas maybe they started with 15 or 20. And that's just part of the practicing process, right?
Absolutely. When my wife Sandy won a teaching award, she's won a bunch of teaching awards, but with this one, we had to travel up to Plano to accept it, and she had to give like a thank you address to this, thousand something people, room of people that she didn't know, and she wrote her speech out word for word, which is what I always do. Not write it out word for word on your note cards, because then you're just going to read it. And so we were rehearsing it. We were driving up to Plano the night before, and she's trying to memorize it. And every time she misses a single word, she stops. And then she goes back to and then she's like, oh, I forgot the word. And then we never actually got all the way through it. And we were in the car for 3.5 hours. And it was just over and over, because she was putting so much pressure on herself to deliver it verbatim, the exact way it was written. She kept messing up, which is not what's important here. It's about getting the ideas across, not the wording across. We get to the hotel and she's like, I'm still not ready. I can't do this. And I go, it's 2 minutes. You're not even imparting any information. You're simply acknowledging people who have helped you on your journey and saying thank you and imparting a final message, right? So quit putting that much pressure on yourself to do it word for word. Just let it flow. And I go, here, if you want to do this, here's what I'd do. I'm only going to give you one note card. I want you to condense it down into a series of key phrases on one note card, and then go for it. And so she's like, okay. So she took about half an hour, and she agonized over it for a while. And it was like bullet point, da da da, bullet point a few words, bullet point a few words, bullet point a few words. And she stood there. She's like, can I do it for you? And I go, please. And she got all the way through it. And she went, oh my gosh, I did it. And I go, yeah, of course. You've always been able to do it. Now you're not pressuring yourself. She said, can I do it again? And I said, I hope you will. And so she did it 3 or 4 more times and just kept nailing it, nailing it. And she goes, I need to record like a testimonial video for you to show your classes, because this has changed the whole way that I see this. I actually have those I took pictures of the note cards and I used them in my PowerPoint slides when I'm explaining this in class. And she got through it, and she did a fantastic job the next day. So putting that pressure on yourself really does lead you to start doubting yourself.
And that one of the best ways to overcome self-doubt is to practice the right way, not reading, not memorizing, just key
Exactly.
ideas.
You're saying it, you're not reading it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Awesome. Any other parting words of wisdom, Casey?
Well, we really, really want to see y'all this semester. We really do. We're a student support service, just like the writing lab or the tutoring service, the study. We are in that same category of student support services. We are here for you. We want to see you. We want to see you do well, and come see us, and you will.
And we can guarantee in some cases, not all, that there's a letter grade difference. There's a
Oh, absolutely.
whole letter grade difference easily for those who practice their delivery and have practiced a few times before they go to the Comm Lab. There's easily at least a letter grade difference in the positive direction.
Absolutely. I mean, you can tell when somebody hasn't rehearsed. You can actually pick up on it and go, oh, they're just kind of making it up as they're going along. And it's really disappointing when they've had weeks and weeks and a support service like the Comm Lab. And, if you did it once a day, that's 5 minutes out of your day, one time each day out loud.
Awesome. Casey Chilton, director of the Texas State University Communication Lab. Thank you so much for your time and sharing your wisdom with us today. And I hope that you get a lot of people this semester visiting the Comm Lab.
Thanks so much, Ryan.